Wanna join me? Come and play, but I might shoot you in your face. Bombs and bullets.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are playing Jinx today. Another hyper carry, extremely fun to play once you get a couple of items. Has really high carry potential in the later stages of the game. It's also really fun to play in the laning phase, but it can be a bit tough early on because you need to scale up and you need to get your items. So Jinx, guys, some early game. Level 1, you have your Q, so you can switch between the minigun and the rocket launcher. So how you want to play it out is that since you get some extra range on your rocket launcher, you want to use that to poke with. It deals more damage, but it has lower attack speed, so you can use that to poke with from long range. And your W does have a very slow cast time early on, but it gets slower as you get more attack speed. So once you have enough attack speed, then it comes out almost instantly, and then it's really hard to dodge. Because your rocket launcher does cost mana, so you need to keep that in mind. You are not able to spam that early on, guys. You just want to use it to poke with. And it's also your wave clear because it deals AoE damage. It does deal more damage than the minigun, but it does not have the DPS because it has much lower attack speed. So I had to switch between the minigun and the rocket launcher when trading, guys. The minigun will only benefit once from that revved up passive. So just use the minigun to farm with, and then if you want to push waves fast or you're trying to poke the opponent, then you can switch to that rocket launcher. Now we got the E level 3 here, so that is the only disengage ability you have with hard CC. And it can stop people even if they try to dash over it, so it's very good for disengaging and also to make sure that people don't escape. As for the champions you want to pick when you have Jinx for the support role, preferably enchanters, because it is a vulnerable hyper carry. It is not a Vayne that can peel for herself. Jinx is immobile unless she's able to proc that passive, but you can't expect to proc that always all the time because you need a takedown or takedown objectives as well, so you cannot expect to proc it all the time. So it's good to have an enchanter who can peel for you. So Lulu is extremely good, Janna is also really good. But other supports like the Braum can also be pretty good, depending on who you're playing against, because Braum is very good at engaging for you. He can tank for you and he can also engage for you, so Braum Nautilus can also work quite well. But preferably when you play these types of hyper carries, you want enchanters that can protect you and peel for you. So just gonna go for the usual strat, rush the tier 2 boots first early on, and it's especially good on immobile AD carries like the Jinx. You do not have any way of escaping if your flash is down, so having that extra mobility and that extra attack speed makes it easier for you to dodge skill shots and also ganks. But you have to keep in mind that you don't really have any damage at this point because we went for mobility and attack speed, so it can be a bit tough farming, so you definitely need the help of your support when you want to farm under the tower. You can use that rocket launcher if you want to push the waves fast. You don't really have that much kill pressure on Jinx, guys. It is a scaling AD carry, it is not a Tristana. Tristana has extremely high kill pressure even from the early game, guys, but That is not the case for Jinx, so unless you have a support who can engage for you and go for these plays, like a Leona for example, or a Braum, then you are not playing for the kills. You are playing to scale up, you are playing to get these items. Once you have these items, then you want to carry the team fights. So you can be extremely aggressive on Jinx if you abuse that rocket launcher, because you get that extra attack speed, you also get more damage. But it does cost mana every single time you use it, so you have to be careful not running out of mana. But that is exactly why we have Presence of Mind, because it's gonna help with these mana problems, especially if you get a takedown. But also just when you trade, because that mana regen is going to help you out quite a lot. We're just gonna constantly pressure these guys. If you manage to poke them down quite a lot with the rocket launcher, you get that extra bonus range, auto attack range, and it can be pretty difficult for them to trade with you. And if you manage to do that a couple times, then you can easily take over the lane. That's a very questionable flash as well. I was almost out of mana also, so I don't think we will be able to get anything from there. We just keep pushing here because they're low HP, so they have to stay, or they have to base and lose all these minions here. We can also use that to pick up the tower plates. So the only thing you have to worry about right now is the jungle ganks, like the Graves right here. So of course you need some good vision down. We just go ahead and push this wave out because it is a normal wave, so it does not take much time for us to push it. Now we got level 6 as well, so we have that global ultimate that can be used to take away objectives. It deals more damage the further it travels, up to a cap of course, and it also deals bonus damage based on missing health. So if you see someone super low HP across the map, then you can just throw out that ultimate. It's gonna end up with a kill most of the time because it actually travels super fast. Just have to be patient with it. Even though the hitbox is decent, it is still somewhat easy to dodge if they have flash or movement abilities up. They need to watch out here. There's a bot lane coming in for the gang, so you can just keep the wave right here, and we can also push if we want to. You see Graves low HP here guys, and you just have to kind of try to predict where he's going to base, and he was not even going to base right there. We still ended up getting the kill, so that's why it's important to look at the minimap and look for those low HP targets and try to get that snipe with your ultimate. It also deals a lot of damage to the objectives, so you can also use it to steal away the dragons and barons and so on. But they did nerf that guys, it used to deal even more damage. Way more than Smite would be able to do, so most of the time you just secure objectives from your ultimate alone. It did get nerfed, but it still deals a lot of damage. Since we got that double buff from the Graves, we can easily use that rocket launcher to push with without having to worry about the mana pool. You can of course place that trap behind them guys if you think they're going to escape during a trade. Then you can place it behind them. And if you think somebody will try to run you down, then you can also place it behind you. So when they try to chase you, then they're going to walk towards the trap. We're not really getting any kills. We got that kill from Graves, but otherwise we're not getting anything because they're playing it really safe. That's an interesting flash from the Tristana as well, tried to insect me with the ultimate. Of course that failed, we got to flash out in time. We're not getting any kills, and that is not something you should expect to do when you play hypercarries. Instead, we are farming super well. Tristana has really low farm actually because we have been pressuring them all the time, and we also got tower plates. So right now we actually have a much bigger lead than we would otherwise have if we just played for the kills. So this is also another way of snowballing yourself without killing your opponent 50 times. You can see that W cast time is slower as you get more attack speed, so at this point it becomes much harder to dodge. A level 1 W with no attack speed is super hard to hit, but once you get attack speed guys, then it becomes extremely fast. And that's where this ability starts to become more reliable. I had to heal right here because I did not know if Braum was going to die, so I did not want to risk it. We got some mana back because Diana got the kill, so we got a takedown and that Presence of Mind kicked in. That's why I really like to use this rune if I'm playing a champion that's very reliant on mana. And Jinx is because her rocket launcher is using mana and she also has other abilities that cost a lot of mana, so we can just go ahead. We got the Kraken Slayer and now we can just get the cloak. Just buying the most expensive items, so on my next recall I can get a bigger component. Start building towards the Phantom Dancer. At this point you can also go for the rapid fire cannon, but I'm testing out Conqueror the Keystone. And since you don't really get that bonus attack speed from the lethal tempo, then you need an attack speed item that gives even more attack speed. And that's pretty much Phantom Dancer, so that's why I'm going this if I'm playing with Conqueror. If I play with lethal tempo, then I would probably have went for the rapid fire cannon because it has great synergy with the rocket launcher. Just gives you super high range, and if you auto attack someone once late game with a rocket launcher, they're gonna lose so much HP. We got a pretty free double kill right there, so that is awesome. We can just keep pushing bottom side. The mid game pretty much started, and what you want to do usually is that you try to group with your team or you rotate and go to top lane so you can take away that outer tower as well. Usually you don't want to be in the side lane because you're playing Jinx, you're super immobile, so you're a very easy target for assassins. So we got the seal and 2 long swords, we almost have enough for the Phantom Dancer. I'm going for this setup every single time I'm using Conqueror, but if you use lethal tempo then you already have a lot of attack speed and then you can just go for the rapid fire cannon. So we got the Phantom Dancer because we could just sell the Adorance, so now we have a pretty decent power spike guys. It's actually a pretty big power spike. You get that true damage from the Kraken Slayer and you also have a lot of attack speed. So now is where you really start coming online. We have 10 CS per minute as well, so we are in a super good spot right now. Very unfortunate that he survived with like 1 HP, but it does happen sometimes. It's very rare that they actually survive the damage from your ultimate, but it does happen sometimes. It does suck quite a bit when that happens. And he also overextended for some reason. Right now I'm just in the silent because they don't really have anyone who can destroy me because we are so fed at this point. They don't really have any assassins, so it's fine to do that right now, but most of the time you just want to stay grouped. You want to stay with your support. And then you can push the silent together or in the mid or top side. And then you kind of try to siege that way. But pretty much your goal, guys, at all times is to stay grouped with your support at least after the laning phase, because you are super vulnerable, and even if you're super fed and if you play against an assassin, they're still gonna one-shot you, so you want somebody who can peel for you. Just want to play around the objectives at all times. You get that passive speed boost whenever you take down a tower, so you can use that to escape with or to run somebody down. Your rocket damage is absolutely insane at this stage of the game, guys. That's why you do need some items before this champion really starts to come online. She does not have any damage whatsoever in the early game. That's why in the laning phase you just focus on farming. You can use that rocket launcher to poke people with. Try to take over the lane if you're not playing against a hyper aggressive bot lane, you know, like a Draven and a Thresh. If you are playing against stuff like that, you have to be extremely careful. Your damage is really insane just from 2 items. You know, after boots you get Kraken Slayer most of the time, and then you get Defensive Dancer that gives you even more attack speed. You have these 2 items, then you can start carrying the game, but it becomes even more fun once you get the Infinity Edge. Because that's why you have a lot of crit chance, so you get a lot more reliable damage. So this is like the 3 core items. You have these items, then you can just 1v9. It's still not a Vayne though, so you can't really run around by yourself. You will get caught out by somebody, especially because so many champions are super mobile this season. And it's full of assassins and stuff like Yasuo, Yone, so you're not able to run around by yourself unless you are super fed. You know, when teamfight starts, you just stay in the backline, you try to get those rocket launcher damage off from the backline, because it deals AoE damage, so if you hit 2 people, then you're gonna nuke them both. Just want to break open the base. We already got the bottom side, so we can just go ahead and push the top side. I can also just go mid because we already got the mid and bottom side.
An enemy has been slain. Unstoppable. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Just go ahead and siege with your support. Braum is very good at peeling for you, especially his passive is so useful. So that was pretty much the video, guys. I hope it was helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.